Hello everyone. Welcome back. Today we will be creating a QR generator in JavaScript using ChatGPT. We will be using the following tools: Visual Studio Code Editor, and ChatGPT. Let's get started. Let's create a directory. Name it QR-generator-ChatGPT. cd into that directory. Now, create a new file, and name it index.html. In the index.html, create the HTML element. Create the head element, create the title element. Title the page QR generator. And create the body element. Let's go back to ChatGPT. First, we need to include the QR code JS library. Copy the code. Paste the code in the head element. Next, we need to create an HTML container where the QR code will be displayed. Let's copy the code. Paste the code in the body element. Let's create a new file and name it script.js. In the script.js file, create an arrow function and name it init QR code. Now, let's add a document add event listener for content loaded. This event will fire once all the content of the page is loaded. Let's add the script.js file in the header element of the index.js file. We need to get the data that we want to encode in the QR code. Copy this code. Paste it in the init QR code function. Now, we need to create a new QR code object and pass in the container and the data as options. Copy the code. Paste the code in the same function again. Now, we need to call the makeCode function on the QR code object. Copy the code and paste it in the init QR code function. Let's create an input field to take in the QR data. Create input type text. The ID should be QR code and name should be QR data. We need a button to generate the QR code. Create a button element with as type button, text as create QR code, and ID as create button. We need a variable to hold the create QR button. Need to find the element create btn. Let's add a click event listener to the create QR button. On click, it will call the QR code makeCode function. Let's move the declaration of data variable into the function as well. Let's change the get element ID to QR code data. We need to update this in the index.html file as well. Now, let's run this code. First, we need to install a live server extension for Visual Studio Code. Click and install it. Then, right-click the index.html file and select Open with a live server. You will see a window pop up with your code running. The code is working correctly. It doesn't look that nice, but it's functioning the way we want. Let's update the styling now. Let's create a container to hold these elements. Create a div with ID equal QR container. Right-click and create a new file. Name it style CSS. In the index.html, let's add the style file. Create a link element in the header, with rel attribute as stylesheet, and href as style CSS. In the style CSS file, let's create a body style element. Have the background color set to blue-violet and the display set to flex. Create the QR container ID element. The max width should be 400 pixels and the width should be 100%. The background color is white. The border radius is 20 pixels. Padding should be 20 pixels. Display set to flex. Align item set to center. Flex direction set to column. Let's add a box shadow to the container. Now add the input element. Set the width to 100%. Font size to 20 pixels. The border should be 2 pixels solid with blue-violet as the color. Padding set to 5 pixels. Margin bottom set to 5 pixels. And set margin to auto. This is how it looks now. Let's add a few more styling. Create the button style element. Set padding to 20 pixels. The background color to blue-violet. Font color to white. Border set to none. Border radius set to 20 pixels. Font size is 16 pixels. Font weight should be bold. Set margin bottom to 20 pixels. Set width to 100%. Add a box shadow to the button. And set the cursor to a pointer. And finally, let's add a button hover effect. Create a button hover state. Set background color to RGB 57,7,104. And there you have it, folks. This is the final product, and I'm so excited to share it with you. As you can see, with the help of ChatGPT, creating this project was a breeze. I was able to save so much time and effort by utilizing this powerful tool, and I highly recommend it to anyone looking for a faster and more efficient way of getting things done. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something new today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more great content like this.